What's up everyone? So today in this video I just want to talk a little bit about anxiety and give some more people some great insights and advice, some suggestions, some ideas on how you can conquer this whole anxiety thing once and for all. So first and foremost, this is very important right here to state right off the bat. I believe that the majority of you who feel like you have anxiety and you're looking for some kind of physical fix, a lot of people are way too focused on some kind of physical mechanism in which this anxiety is rooted in. A lot of people are focused way too much on, oh my god, like, is it a neurotransmitter issue, a genetic issue? I have some kind of special problem that other people do not experience. A lot of times it triggers people. It triggers these anxiety victims, so to speak, when they hear people say that anxiety is your fault, or when they say that you don't have some kind of special disorder or disability. These anxiety sufferers feel very like they're being wronged, like it's an injustice to say that your anxiety is your fault. And you see, this is an unfortunate paradox, I suppose you could say, an unfortunate paradigm that the anxiety sufferer is coming from. They feel like they're experiencing a special disorder that they have and is not normal, that most people do not experience. It's unfortunate. It's a little frustrating, I guess, to me, because I've dealt with anxiety, and I've been placed in that category where doctors have told me I had some kind of genetic disorder all throughout my childhood. Very long story, but long story short, you have to understand that most of you people can significantly decrease the severity of your anxiety symptoms. At the very least, you can significantly decrease the severity of your anxiety symptoms if you started to look at what is going on in your mind that is causing you to feel anxious. And you're not going to be able to identify what kind of thought patterns or belief systems are causing you to feel anxiety until you've actually began to remove these things and you experience relaxation from trial and error of removing thought patterns that do not serve you. Okay, so it's almost like the grass is greener on the other side, but you never know until you actually experience that greener grass on the other side. So you have to experience the results of modifying your thought patterns before you can actually see how this can impact you positively. This is why most people feel like victims and won't accept the possibility that maybe it's all in their head, because they have seen evidence all their life that they have some kind of genetic disorder, or they've seen evidence for years that they have a physical problem. It's not all in their head. You know, people say, I think positive thoughts all the time, but I still feel anxious. Well, you're probably a little bit confused on what that actually means. It's not necessarily thinking textbook positive thoughts, like thoughts that on paper look positive. What it is, what you really need to be focusing on is focusing on subjects that make you feel good. Thinking thoughts that feel good rather than feel bad, okay? It's not the same as thinking positive thoughts. There's a difference between saying, I love myself, I love my life, and saying something that makes you feel good, okay? It's going to be different for everybody. For some people, you might say, I love my life, but you feel like anxious just saying that. It's a positive thought on paper, but to you, it actually amplifies your anxiety, whereas someone else can say the same mantra or affirmation and feel completely different, okay? For some people, you know, they might just say, I can do anything I set my mind to. Or say something that's going to make you feel the way you want to feel. Because that's what it's all about. You can look for herbs and supplements all you want, and I have plenty of videos on my channel explaining which type of herbs and supplements can actually help you with your anxiety. And that's all trial and error. That's all independent on the individual as well. Not one supplement will work for everybody, you know. But beyond that, it's all about what do you want to feel, what do you want to experience. If you want rock hard erections and solid energy, you could take Yohimbe. If you want to just feel relaxed and calm and you have trouble sleeping, you take a combination of Gotu Kola and Bacopa, or you take ashwagandha and holy basil, you know, or theanine and green tea or something of that nature. You know, there's different effects depending on the herbs, but you shouldn't be chasing the cure for anxiety. You shouldn't be chasing you know, positive thoughts. You shouldn't be chasing this idea of this thing that looks good on paper. What you want to be chasing is, what do I want to experience? So somebody who's suffering from anxiety, what you should be focused on is, I want to feel relaxed. You know, I want to feel relaxed. Well, if you're always thinking about your anxiety, how do you think you're going to feel? You're going to feel like you have a deficit. You're going to feel like you're not normal. You're going to feel like there's something wrong with you. You're going to feel like a victim of a disease constantly. And whenever you're out and about, and let's say if you have social anxiety, I dealt with this for a while, a short period of time. You're talking to someone else, and you're trying all these mind games because people tell you that they'll work for you, like, oh, just think positive, or oh, be mindful of your thoughts, or oh, like, you know, focus on your breathing, or whatever. You're trying way too hard, and effort is anxiety. Relaxation is letting go, and whatever happens, happens. A lot of people are a little too stubborn and attached to the outcome, so they can't just let go. They say, like, oh, like, I wish I could let go. It's easier for you to say, you know, but when you're in the middle of a panic attack, you can't just let go. Well, hey, I used to have panic attacks all the time, and I learned how to let go of them and just let them happen, you know. A lot of it is letting go. A lot of it is letting go of attachment. A lot of the issues people have is they're too attached, and they're trying too hard, you know. So does that mean that you should stop looking for physical causes of anxiety? No, but take a different approach to it. Don't look for the root causes of anxiety and solutions to anxiety because you feel like you have a problem. Don't look for solutions with anxiety, like, oh God, I gotta find it, like feeling all desperate, trying super hard, you know, feeling all stressed out, just trying to figure out a solution to your stress in the first place. Instead, look for these solutions and look at these cures and these herbs and these techniques from a place of fascination. You want to be genuinely interested and fascinated with what you're reading, with the search for information. All right, thinking of it as a process of evolution and expanding your mind rather than solving a problem you have. There's no finish line. All right, part of the problem is that people are trying too hard to solve their problem. It's a strange paradox. The other part is that people feel like the issue that they have is all genetic. What are you focused on is the greatest question you can ask yourself, and whatever you're focused on is the answer to however you're feeling at any given moment. A cure for a lot of these people is simply smiling, even if your smile isn't that great. Like right now I'm smiling, I think. But you can't tell. I guess my beard, or maybe it's just my muscles in my face are too tense. But I can tell you that a lot of anxiety seems to fade away when you force yourself to smile, and you just try to allow yourself to be happy. Allow yourself rather than try. You see, allowing versus trying, there's a difference, you know. And with anxiety, it's just trying. Attachment to the future, you know, attachment to what you want to happen. Allowing things to happen is how you let go of anxiety. Because if you're allowing things, then anxiety cannot exist by definition. Beyond that, let's see. there's a lot of other things to discuss. But essentially, smiling, allowing yourself to feel these things, this should definitely help you out. And then for those few people who need some kind of that there is a physical issue, and a lot of times there are. If you're not paying attention to how the food you eat makes you feel, then you're very far behind, and all this time you spent looking for these supplements and things have been time wasted. The very first reason why people are anxious due to physical issues and so-called genetic brain imbalances and whatnot, it's the food you're eating. Okay, it doesn't have to be super hard. You don't have to spend millions of dollars a week eating at Whole Foods, eating all organic. You don't have to be perfect. All you need to do is learn about what foods are supposed to give you certain effects, and once again, through trial and error, you find what foods make you feel anxious, what foods give you energy, what foods make you feel good. Some people, they eat too much, they overeat. When I first started training seriously for sports, my stomach was always full of food, and for some reason I thought that if I ate a bunch of eggs and potatoes and beef right before a workout, it was going to give me energy immediately. I don't know why I thought that. So I walked around with all this food in my stomach and wondered why I couldn't breathe. Well, guess what? If you have a bunch of food in your stomach expands and it compresses the diaphragm, causing a shortage of breath. I didn't realize that. Not to mention all that food in your stomach, all your blood and circulation is going to the stomach to digest that food. So a lot of people can start with fasting and doing an elimination diet, where for 2 weeks they remove all common allergens and hard to digest foods, and they just eat something like white jasmine rice, beef, whatever type of meat you want to eat, fruits and vegetables. A very simple diet. All of those foods should be easy to digest unless you have some further imbalance in your stomach acid, which is the only reason why someone isn't digesting meat properly. I don't care what anyone says. And then slowly adding other foods back. I realized through an elimination diet that dairy causes me to go fucking crazy. Mood swings and crazy things happen to me when I consume dairy. Not to mention my tongue gets discolored and my dental health goes down the drain. I get a yellow or a white coating of the tongue, more than likely small intestinal bacterial overgrowth or some kind of candida or something of that nature. All I know is that removing dairy from my diet has changed my mood for the better and allowed me to sleep. Alright, a lot of people experience sleep disturbances and they're freaking out like a bunch of crazy like bugs or something. Rats on a fucking spinning wheel. And they think they're looking for all these weird like remedies and things, but what they don't realize is there's a very simple cause of their sleep problems, and that is a lot of times a food intolerance or a allergy. There's two types of allergies. The first type is an immediate reaction of histamine, where you get a bunch of hives, and you go into shock or whatever, can't breathe and whatnot. The second type takes anywhere from 24 to 72 hours to happen, and it can cause anything from fibromyalgia to extreme constipation or irritable bowel syndrome, to hyperthyroid issues or thyroid issues in general, to mood imbalances of all kinds, especially mood swings and sleep disturbances. Okay, but this can take up to 72 hours to happen, and so you won't know unless you've done trial and error over and over again, removing this food. You're not sure what food it is, but through an elimination diet you can find out. Removing this food for a certain amount of time, and then reintroducing it and noticing the same effect. You keep repeating that process until eventually you have it narrowed down to whatever food it is. If you notice every time you eat a food you feel a certain way, that's a sign as to what parts of your diet are causing problems. And at a baseline, hypoglycemia and blood sugar problems, certain nutrient imbalances such as deficiencies or overabundance of certain nutrients. A lot of people don't have enough magnesium in their diet. Most people do not. Some people have good intentions. They try removing salt from their diet, and they end up drinking more water, and they end up with a minor salt deficiency, manifesting in restlessness, anxiety, trouble sleeping, trouble breathing, and of course cramps is a more extreme part of that, and then eventually swelling of the body. And so adding a little bit of salt would help that. Or, magnesium imbalances that can manifest as constipation, sleeplessness, etc. And joint pain, and calcium deposits, and gout, and hypertension. All sorts of crazy things happen when you have certain nutrient deficiencies. A vitamin D3 deficiency, that's a very, very common cause of anxiety and all sorts of problems. Also sleep problems. And of course you have herbal remedies you can try. Bacopa is really good. Gotu kola, ashwagandha, holy basil, theanine. Let's see. Yohimbe can help with anxiety depending on what it is, what type of anxiety you have. Magnesium can help. Some good water can help. Chamomile can help. There's all sorts of great remedies, okay? But a lot of it's just what you're focused on, and caring too much about what people think, and ego issues. If you have, if you're attached to a self-image and you're constantly trying to be something you're not, then chances are you're going to have extreme anxiety and anger issues. Like, I did this whole entire video with a bunch of stuffed monkeys on my bed, and I don't even care. I'm not even, who cares? Like, I know I'm going to get some people like, oh, this guy has stuffed monkeys on his bed. How can I trust a guy who's like a child or something? Like, if you have cynical thoughts like that about other people, like, oh, he has monkeys on his bed, I can't trust him, fucking child, fucking mammoth with a beard, fucking caveman, oh, you use the F word, oh, that's so unprofessional. That's causing your anxiety, motherfuckers. You need to take care of that. This like caring too much about dumb things. Who cares if I have monkeys on my bed? Part of that is just I didn't really care if they were there or not. I didn't really want to move them. The other part of that is to prove a point that it doesn't fucking matter what people think. I just, my entire day today, I had these crazy ass pants on that they're like baggy pajama pants, and I wore them to the gym. I hit multiple personal records in the gym. I went to the grocery store like that, and I did try to roll them up so they looked like shorts instead, but they kept coming down. Eventually I said, fuck it, I don't care. Who cares? Like, why? A lot of people care way too much about what other people think, and a lot of people, it's all in their head. They feel like victims. They feel like, they place too much importance on nonsense. And they have a very suffocating mindset rather than liberation. So a good place to start for those people would be to look at literature, speeches, and learn about the law of attraction and read it every day. A lot of people think these things are like hocus pocus, magic, nonsense, and yada yada. But look, at a baseline, I 100% believe that this is a fact, and this is something that you can test out every single day and see that it works, that it is a fact. You can look at Conor McGregor and realize that he talks about all the time. That's what he uses. He just got done bringing in $100 million boxing Floyd Mayweather, and he owes it all to the law of attraction and visualization. But even beyond that, someone suffering with anxiety, the law of attraction will take care of that. If nothing else, it may not manifest you $1 million. If you're using it right, it should lead you in that direction. But if you're using it right, at the very baseline, it'll cure your anxiety. And circumstances in your life will become better. You may not become famous or something with a law of attraction, but at the very least, your circumstances can be a lot better, because if you believe that you can achieve anything you want in life, you're more likely you're going to see the possibilities rather than the limitations and the excuses. So many people are just too attached to excuses, just attached to ideologies that are only limiting them. So I'll leave it with that. Okay, address the mindset and try to process all this information and let it soak with you. Watch this video over and over again and see how your life changes. So leave your questions and comments down below. This video was my first video my first day of Bacopa. So far, I actually think that it's working really well, along with Gotu Cola and some great Gotu Cola tincture I had, along with some Yerba Mate and coffee, king of fucking everything, because I don't really, no one should worry about the ego and cockiness nonsense people spew at others. You should be full of yourself. You should be so full of yourself you don't have room for other people's bullshit. Everyone's so scared of people being full of themselves. As long as you don't feel like you're above other people, you're fine. I feel like everyone's created equally and has the same tools and opportunities as everyone else, to an extent. You should enjoy yourself and love yourself with authenticity.